Welcome to Married to Movies. Industry insiders John Russell and Tracy Kring live and work happily in cinematrimony. They're sharing behind-the-scenes adventures of writing, producing, and appreciating films.
Good morning, babe.
Good morning, babe.
We did something which I always vow, never to do.
Okay.
We ate Mexican in New York.
Yes.
I don't believe in that.
Well, Pedro Pascal has said there is no good Mexican in New York. And he's not wrong about that.
No, I've been saying this for years.
Yeah.
Ever since, that's one of my favorite kinds of foods.
Yes.
I love it because I love condiments.
Right. We drove by a place called House of Berea.
Berea, come on.
Yeah.
It should be good.
One of the good signs, there was smoke coming out the top of it.
I would say the food was like a solid, mediocre place in Southern California.
Which makes it an amazing place in New York.
It's basically got 2 Michelin stars in New York.
It really
Mexican
does.
food.
Yes. So House of Berea, Middletown, New York. The reason we were there, and this has got me hopping mad. I'm hopping. Do you see me? I'm hopping mad. So you had an issue, like a broken tooth or something. So I was calling around, okay? And I said, listen, and they were like, well, is this an emergency? And I said, well, she does have some pain. She does have a broken tooth. And they got us an appointment very, very quickly, like within a couple of days. And I was like, yes, awesome. You're there like an hour. That was all it was like an hour. And I was like, what's the deal?
It felt like a day.
You come out and you tell me, oh, all this was a consultation and they did some x-rays. That's not an emergency visit.
And I try to explain this
what if
to
you got shot?
No, it's not. They did the x-rays and determined there was no infection.
But it was an emergency.
It wasn't really.
There's pain. That's an emergency visit. The reason for the emergency visit is that there was pain.
The tooth I was concerned about has no pain. Has no pain.
Well, you needed to fake it.
They found a cavity and it's very close to the root. And they said I should have a root canal and a crown.
And they have scheduled it.
And they were more worried about this tooth, I think, because a root canal and a crown are much more expensive.
They have scheduled it for January 26th, 2026.
They did schedule the root canal?
If it's an emergency, fix it.
I get it. But when you get there, if they're like, oh, actually, this isn't a gunshot wound, it's a mosquito bite, are they supposed to do surgery on you anyway?
No, they're not. But it was not a mosquito bite.
They have to turn into insurance and see if insurance will cover it.
Right.
Because if insurance won't cover the root canal and the crown, I'm going to have to pay for it.
So once again, it's the fault of the American government.
All of this stuff that has gone through recently with the budget and the cuts that are being made across the board, it's really affecting people. I know people who are losing their jobs. Their jobs are being eliminated because of cuts.
The Republican Party has figured out a way to bleed people. They're fucking leeches. They're putting leeches on people's lives, on businesses, and they're just bleeding people for more money. And where's that money going? It's going to golden ballrooms. It's going to
paving the rose garden.
It's paving the rose garden. Just the stupidest, most evil shit.
Did you see the thing with Pete Hegseth? No, but
that is so stupid.
I was watching them replace all the signs with like Secretary of War.
Oh God.
And it's hysterical. It is hysterical.
They're like 10-year-olds.
They didn't measure it right.
Oh, of course they didn't. Oh.
So it doesn't fit in the space it's supposed to fit in. It's hysterical. Like that's this administration for you in a nutshell, in my opinion.
One more thing. Stephen Miller. Basically, he's Leo.
Leo McGarry?
He's Leo McGarry in the West
Wing.
Wing. Yes, he's Leo McGarry in the West Wing.
This is really how I know who people are in government. Yes. You have to tell me who
they are in the West Wing. Yes.
If they were on the West Wing, I'll understand what they do.
At one point, there was an interview, and I've heard this interview, where he says that the optimal number of people in the United States is 100 million.
How many are here?
338 million.
If you looked at our resources and you said, okay, the United States has to sustain itself. We have to produce all of our oil and coal.
Right.
We have to produce all of our own food, and we're going to cut off from everybody else. We're going to secede from the world
Right.
and be our own thing.
And there are people who have always been proponents of that.
If you did that math,
Mm-hmm.
it might come up to, okay, you could do that with 100 million people.
Okay, great. But what about the other
But here's the problem.
238 million people?
And what we've seen, what has been proven through
Right.
the experiment of China, because of their one-child policy,
Mm-hmm.
has started to ruin their whole
That's true.
structure.
That's true. And now China is encouraging people to have multiple babies. You can't genetically engineer life. You just can't do it.
Well, the thing is, anytime that you mess around with nature, there's an inevitable...
Jeff Goldblum, life will find a way.
No, there's a certain balance that you're messing with.
Absolutely. And you don't understand that balance.
No, and you have no idea, just like when they put a dam in. Oh, whoop-de-doo, we get hydroelectric power.
Right.
We kill everything in their ecosystem, and beavers
Absolutely.
die, and
Right.
trees die, and then land erodes, and then...
This brings up, we're watching Alien Earth right now.
Mhm.
And the last episode was kind of an homage. Episode 5 was very much an homage to the original Alien. It was sort of like a different version, of that story, of what happens and how this ship ended up crashing on. All of these weird creatures that they have on this ship,
Yeah.
they don't understand them.
No.
At all. And they have brought them into this situation onto Earth or onto the ship, really having no concept of what that will mean. There's a scene where there's a scientist
Mhm.
and they're drinking something in the lab.
They're inside the lab.
Right. And
they're
inside the
drinking.
lab, they're drinking something. And there's this little tick guy who gets out of his cage and he puts tick embryos in the water, and somebody drinks it and horrible things happen. Now, one of the things people have complained about is the protocol of drinking or eating in a lab.
Well, here's the thing.
What's the thing?
They aren't really scientists.
That's true. They are really space truckers. That's the whole concept.
They are out of their depth
Right.
this whole time. Like, I would say not the scene where the dude drinks the ticks. That's not the problem.
Mm-hmm.
You back it up to how this little
That's
tick...
the most horrible sentence I've ever heard in my life.
Really?
Dude drinks the ticks.
Oh.
Oh my God.
Well, and what happens if you try to pull the ticks off, they release a toxic gas that kills everybody.
Yes.
How the ticks got out and into the water, I don't think she's a scientist. I think she's probably a medical officer of some sort.
Yeah, they don't seem to be
It's
doing...
like- it's
they're
like-
not doing a lot of science.
Well, it's like they're collecting samples.
Yeah,
And I feel like
exactly.
that's a different procedure.
I wouldn't even call them zoologists. I mean,
No.
they just they're...
She has no respect for protocol. She has a
No.
sandwich.
Yes.
She has a sandwich there.
Yes.
Okay. And she doesn't put the lock back on.
Okay, but
The
here's
thing.
my point. Here's my point.
It's just stupid.
No, it's not stupid. Because when you get...
It's a device.
When you get
They needed it to
comfortable-
happen.
When you get comfortable in any sort of situation,
No.
protocols go out the window. I
Not
give
really.
you... Okay, a movie I absolutely love, which is called The Falcon and the Snowman.
Okay.
Okay, Falcon and Snowman. Timothy Hutton and Sean Penn. It's
Yeah.
about espionage in the 1980s. Okay, and Timothy Hutton is working at this CIA place that gets all of this information that goes through it. 3 or 4 months in, I love this scene. He is making a margarita with one of the machines that usually gets the information.
Right.
Okay, that's not protocol, but everybody's enjoying the fact that they can make a margarita with the machine.
Okay. And
You understand what I'm saying?
let me say that's a movie.
Yes, I
That's
understand.
not real life.
I understand. Well, okay, that is based on a true story. Because if people are lax, whether it was a lab or it was a wet
you
market
do
or
not,
whatever.
You do not eat or drink in a freaking lab. There are things. No,
But
you
people
can't.
will.
No,
But
you
people
can't.
will.
No, you can't. No, you can't.
Okay.
You will die.
You worked in a nuclear facility.
Yeah.
Did people get lax with protocol?
Yeah, and they got fucking contaminated. Duh. Yeah.
You've seen Silkwood situations,
Yeah.
haven't you?
Yeah.
So do they go to their home and like take
Yeah.
all their shit and everything?
Rip their walls out. Oh yeah.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah. I have a story there. I don't know if I'm at liberty to say it.
Ooh.
Because I have a little bit of information that was from,
Maybe the government doesn't want us to know.
No, it was from people who worked in security, so I
Right.
don't know if that's a problem. I was a person who helped and received dirty laundry,
Dirty laundry.
which is the banana suits they wear into contaminated areas.
Which is, by definition, nuclear waste.
They send this out though to laundry to be
Mhm.
cleaned,
Right.
and then we receive it back. I don't know what that process was.
Yeah, I don't know.
But these guys are, sometimes, okay, you got to have a partner who's watching you dress. So
Okay.
you're like in your underwear and people are watching you dress
Hot.
and you're
All right.
actually taping around all of the things. Like you're taping around your gloves, you're taping around your shoes.
Right.
So that's a whole process. And then there's a very specific order and way in which you get undressed so that you peel yourself out of it.
Ooh.
I have seen, because those things are freaking hot, and it is hot in
Ooh.
the places they send these people. It is
Nice.
hot.
I like the way this
Like-
is going.
People would fall out of heat stroke.
Oh. Well,
A lot.
That,
lot.
That's not
We had to
sexy,
have our
but
own
okay.
medical facility because people would just fucking fall out.
Right.
And then trying to get someone out of a suit who's passed out, that doesn't sound fun, does it?
Jeez.
Sometimes it would just like sweat would pour out of
Oh, no.
It was so gross.
Oh, that's gross.
it was so gross.
Oh, that's bad.
it was so gross.
Oh, my God.
But this one time,
I've been camp.
a
right.
dude managed to get contaminated, get through all these checks, and I don't know how he got through some
Right.
of these checkpoints,
Right.
and then get out of security because, like, when you leave, enter and leave,
Because protocol is for shit.
well,
People give up on protocol, man.
I don't know how he did it,
He was making margaritas.
but when you leave in or out of the facility, you have to go through security, and you're immediately they know if you have contamination. All the fucking alarms go off.
Yeah.
It
It's like
didn't
leaving
happen.
Walmart.
It didn't happen.
Oh, it didn't happen. Okay.
No, and like you're wearing a Geiger counter all the time. Somehow, it was weird. It was weird, and
How
I
did he
think
get
they
through?
thought it was weird because they thought maybe it was nefarious because it was so weird. But they found out when he came back to work the next day. They caught him.
Mm-hmm.
And then they like went all the way back through his life. That whole, I think it was like he was home maybe for even longer than a day. I don't remember. But they took his bed. They took his fridge. They can go through and find everything you touched.
They went full contagion on him.
Yes.
It's like, absolutely. It's like, okay, where has he been?
They took
Who has he talked to?
They
What
took
has
his
he done?
They ripped his shower out.
There you go.
They whatever has contamination because nuclear waste and contaminant has a half-life of thousands of years.
I think
at best.
I think this is evidence that people could drink ticks. This is evidence. This is proof of my point.
The thing is, the food and drink should never have been in there.
Okay, I understand that, but
And I'm suggesting that because they're not actually scientists, of course it was lax.
of course,
They're just supposed to go down and collect some samples. That's not really science. I specifically passed up on Unsane
Unsane.
because
It's one of Soderbergh's like
iPhone movies.
iPhone movies, which I think I've only seen like one of those.
Here's the thing. I don't mind an iPhone movie.
the ideas of the shots, the visuals were pretty good.
But it's
all about the angle.
It was wide angle, and I think he's done that in a newer movie too. It's just not very cinematic.
Well, here's the problem with
There's no like art to it.
So the main character in this movie gets involuntarily committed.
But she actually signed stuff and she didn't know she did.
But it was like accidental. And it almost feels like the idea of a movie came from something real, which is that these hospitals will get you to admit something like suicidal ideation or something in a consult
to get
will get you into their beds involuntarily for 7 days because the insurance will pay for it. Okay. So that's okay. There's an idea. There's an idea for a story.
Okay.
Then there's this stalking angle.
And somehow the stalker comes to work there.
The stalker was already working there.
I don't know.
And that is the part that makes no sense. It makes no sense. There's no way to make it make sense.
Maybe overall, like maybe
it is such a plot hole.
Maybe we're only understanding the premise that we got.
Look,
maybe the premise is above that.
No,
and the premise is
no. Do not give them credit. Do not give them any credit. That plot hole was so large that the entire film I was watching it, I was like, oh, this has to be just in her head. This can't possibly be true. She's crazy. She thinks that the guy's really there. He's not really there.
But things start happening outside of the hospital.
Yes, exactly. It was such a massive, huge plot hole.
I thought all of the other people in the place were like her multiple personalities. That's what I thought. Because like they never got any interaction with doctors.
But I have a connection to this movie.
Oh, how?
Jay Farrow.
Yeah,
was starring in this movie.
And you were on Quiz with Balls.
And he was the host of the Quiz with Balls.
That's funny.
And he did a great job, by the way.
You have no degrees of separation.
No degrees of separation from Unsane. Absolutely terrible movie.
You have 1 degree of separation from Steven Soderbergh.
Yes, that's true. That's true. Me and Steven were like this. So we saw another movie, and it was another one of those that like you pass by it like on Shudder and stuff like that, and people start talking about it.
Okay. Possum.
Possum. It's called Possum, and I'd heard from people this is a really disturbing movie, and you see on the thumbnail there's like a kind of a spider thing.
You don't like spiders.
Oh, I don't like spiders. There's no actual spider. There's this puppet in Possum.
It's a spider puppet.
It's a spider puppet with a human head.
Yeah.
Well, not a real human head.
It's pretty weird.
It's terrifying.
Yeah. Every time that thing was on the screen, I heard you screaming.
Well,
I looked up at the same time you were watching this one section that had a giant jump scare.
One of the biggest jump scares of my entire life.
They got us
so good.
So hard.
Because the whole thing was like you were concentrating on this one thing. It reminded me of like most famously the jump scare in The Exorcist 3, which is considered to be like one of the best jump scares ever, when the person with the sheet, walks across with the clippers to clip the nurse's head off. Possum was fantastic. And Sean Harris, the actor,
it was so dirty. Well, it reminded me of a early Lars von Trier.
It was real. There are similarities even almost to a Tarkovsky film where it was so quiet.
Yeah.
And you're just living with this horribly damaged, possibly crazy person.
Very damaged.
Roaming around kind of apocalyptic England. It was really an amazing film because I was I was under this auspice this whole time of what's real and what's not. It kind of reminded me of Christian Bale in the Mechanic in that way.
Yeah.
Where it's like, who's real, who's in his head, what's actually happening, blah, blah, blah. And they kind of use that against you.
Yeah.
And nail it.
Yeah.
They nailed it. Trigger warning. messed up stuff happens in this movie.
Well, the way that he carries around this bag with possum in it.
Sean Harris is so great in this movie because everything about him feels alien. The way he walks, the way he holds his
feels
arms.
like a predator, though.
He does. He's just.
It's like this fragile predator.
Oh, you feel really bad for him because
you do. But it's like you think he's a serial killer.
He's scary.
He's scary.
He's scary and
the way that
damaged.
The way that he carries this bag around with him, it reminds me whenever I was hanging out with some people and they brought up like, oh, this is the way you have to handle this person because they have triggers,
Mm-hmm.
and they're very triggered by that. And I was just like, I went to the bathroom after that and I was just thinking about how, like emotional damage or trauma.
Emotional damage.
Yeah. Or like, whatever you want to call, there's a damage, right? But, even if you wreck your car and they say it's totaled,
right?
Somebody auctions that shit off and it turns back into scrap metal. It turns into they fix it up.
That bag was like carrying around his personal horror, his personal damage.
And then I thought about, like, we call it baggage, literally.
No, and that's what it was.
I have to carry baggage.
Yes. And he would always be trying to get rid of his baggage.
Yeah.
And then it would come back.
Well, but in real life, I mean, you're never going to actually be rid of that baggage. That's true. But you can decide to set it down. You can choose to set it down.
You can try. You can try.
You can put it through baggage claim and just not pick it up again. But sure. Like you can actually choose, like, especially if it's affecting your life now. It's like something that happened in the past is dictating how I'm acting right now.
I love the fact that you're trying to get a philosophical point out of possum.
No, it's what it was about.
Yeah. No, it was.
It's really what it was about, mental illness.
Oh, it was. Yeah. very much about mental illness.
No, and I think it's
the causes and living with mental illness.
It's a great meditation on it.
Well, and that's what a great horror movie is.
I agree.
It exists with the horrors that already exist. And then it adds something to that.
And the horror of, him really wanting to be rid of it, really wanting to be better, well. Wanting to feel better, wanting to be well.
Right.
And he could not.
Until he found a way to deal with it. We got called out on something this week.
Oh, yeah.
And I believe that when you are called out on the truth, how you react to the truth is really who you are as a person.
Well, you get defensive.
And you're just like, no, that's not true. And you start, and we all do the same things when somebody calls us out on something that's not true. But when they call you out with truth, to me, that's where the rubber meets the road. Because are you going to defend yourself? Are you going to attack that person? Are you going to say that they're a liar? Are you going to gaslight them? To me, that's where the shit gets dark.
It's called extreme personal accountability.
Yes.
Okay. And a lot of people don't want to be accountable to themselves or for themselves. Mm-hmm. They want to blame.
Admit nothing. That's that whole Roy Cohn idea. Never admit. And
honestly,
it's the root of evil, man. Well, it's the root of evil.
It might cause evil because the more you let that stuff happen, the more that it happens and the more that it builds up a residue, a plaque. Oh, I'm going to use a really gross word.
Oh, okay. What's the word?
It's so gross.
What's the word? It's moist?
No.
Okay, it's worse than moist.
Smegma.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Emotional and spiritual smegma.
I don't even know what smegma really is, but it still grosses me out.
Look it up, guys.
I don't want to look it up. I'm going to see pictures. I don't want to see it, man.
And if there's something within my control,
yes,
to address a thing that I've done, I'll I should certainly do that. I should certainly try.
Mm-hmm.
Just like somebody comes to you and says,
Right.
like, if I'm like, hey, it really hurt my feelings when you did this or that.
It
Just
takes
apologize.
nothing away from you.
Just freaking say you're
just
sorry.
say, I'm sorry.
Well, I'm sorry is really just an
I'm sorry
acknowledgement.
I'm sorry doesn't even, you're not even necessarily taking full responsibility for the situation.
But see, all I'm sorry is I acknowledge.
I empathize. I
was in another situation in business, and something was going on with a movie, and it was somewhere that we didn't expect it to be. And I was like, well, I never got a rights of refusal on this. Like I never said yes or no to this.
Right.
Also, I've entered 88 film festivals.
Right.
I don't read the terms and conditions of every single one of those.
And if you don't read the terms and conditions, you could be involuntarily put into a mental institution.
Right. If you don't read it.
Read those terms and conditions. Or you could go to a dentist and not actually get dental work done.
Right. Well, I didn't know this was going to happen. I can certainly reach out to them and let them know we don't want to offer it online.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't read all the terms and conditions of everything I enter.
What he said was way to take responsibility.
Yeah, way to be accountable.
That's it.
Speaking of personal accountability.
Oh, geez. No. I don't like the way this is starting. I don't like the way this is starting because this feels like a gotcha moment. This feels like I have an apple on my head and a target on my face.
Something that can make me angry is whenever like annoying things turn into generalizations like at mass proportion.
One thing becomes like, well, this is something that's been happening.
Right. This is a problem I've noticed.
Okay.
Right?
Yes.
Because you were like, there was this time where I was waiting on you to approve an email.
Correct.
And you did. You texted me and said, yes, go with that.
Right.
And I didn't do it right away. It was just still sitting in my drafts.
It was sitting in your drafts.
A couple hours later, you're like, hey, did you send that email?
Well, I had gotten an email says,
People
has the email gone out yet?
Yeah.
Yes.
So you're getting asked. And that's also an aspect of personal accountability. And your care for another human being.
Correct.
Is that the things that are important to them are just as important to you. And your commitment to do a task, if I'm a good person, if I'm trying to be a decent human being, my commitment has to be to your commitment.
So my dad said something to me once that always stuck with me. And I don't even know if I necessarily agree with it. I think that there is truth to it. He said that saying I forgot was the same thing as saying I didn't care. There is truth to that.
Yeah, there are also accidents in life.
Of course there are. That is a massive generalization and very mean, by the way. Very mean thing to say.
If you did something instead, like if it was like, I didn't send that email, even though I knew I needed to.
Right.
Because I would rather eat pizza.
Right.
Of course I didn't care about it.
Right.
But I genuinely had moved on.
Right.
And when I saw your text message, I was just like, okay, great. I can send that email.
But I do feel like that to say that I didn't care about you, that's where it gets dark. That's where it gets to be like gaslighting.
Why would you take things personal like
I know.
that?
I know.
That's not a thing to take personal.
It's not. Well, see, that's the thing is that, everything was personal. Everything was personal. Is this
therapy?
No, this isn't therapy. I'm just saying I remember that very, very distinctly. And it did have an effect on me because I do think about the fact that if you tell me something is important, if I care about you, I am going to make sure that happens.
Well, I think it just has to be as important as I take it.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Right.
And we also have to communicate to people how important something is to us.
That's a really good point because sometimes people don't let you know just how, that particular thing really makes a difference to them. It reminds me of Bruce Willis in Pulp Fiction when she forgets the watch. He said, "I did not tell you how important the watch was to me."
It was just a watch to her.
And the reason that he does that is he loves her, and he can't believe
That she would do it.
that she would have done that on
Right.
purpose.
Right. In my mind, let's say it was just wiping this table down this morning.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We'll take that as an example. If I just say, "Hey, could you wipe the table down for me?"
Mm-hmm.
And you say, "Yeah, sure."
Right.
Well, that's not a legitimate commitment to do anything.
Right.
People say stuff like that all the time.
Right.
But it's my responsibility
Mm-hmm.
to tell you, I plan on shooting the podcast this morning.
Right.
In the next 30 minutes, can you wipe that table down? And you can
that's
say,
true.
"Yes, I can."
Right.
Or you can say, "Actually, can I do it in 45 minutes?"
Right. Exactly.
I'm
when
doing
are we gonna be
something right now.
Right.
Or, "No, I cannot."
Well, it's my responsibility to tell you that the podcast is over.
It's hard not to get romantic about movies. Thanks for listening to Married to Movies.